Greetings, greetings, greetings. Shout out to all of you wonderful deep divers. Let's get this party started. I'm so happy. The whole world is just beginning. We already won. It's about us all. So many beautiful deep divers here. It's a choice. So happy to manifest whatever you want, to be whatever you want. It's a choice. Freedom is a must. We have to become the spoon. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Shout out to everybody who's here. Everybody who's here. Everybody who's diving deep. Peace, Infinite Waters, diving deep once again. I hope all of you are taking care of yourself, deep divers. I woke up like this, all magical and fly, just, whoa, breathing in that good ass prana, baby. What are we doing? Raising the frequency. I feel so much better now. Raising the vibration. I feel so much better now. Take that, take that, take that. That good ass energy I'm sending you. And let me say a big shout out to everybody who's joined the new Ralph Smart Patreon page for all new exclusive content that's going to help you become your greatest version. Patreon.com/Ralph Smart Deep Divers. Click the link down below and be inspired. Also, by the way, deep divers, shout out to everybody in the chat. We are live. And once again, I'm answering your questions. You got something to say? Let's talk about it. I don't really go live a lot, but whenever I do, it's always a good time. It's always a party. I'm like, okay, I gotta go live for deep divers because at least once a week, so much is happening. And I can do the regular uploads, but I'm like, okay, I gotta talk to you in live time because there's some things I want to share. And also I want to hear back from you. I want to hear everything you all have to say. So, let's keep it at least once a week. We'll probably do more, but let's see how it goes. I'm just grateful to be live, right? Feel Alive Part 2 coming in 2025. Once again, Feel Alive Part 2. Get ready for that new book by Ralph Smart coming in 2025. It's already written, deep divers. Are you ready? Are you excited or are you excited? Feel Alive Part 2 is already complete. We just completed. Now, just calling my distributor. We're going to get it out there. Get ready for it. 2025 Feel Alive Part 2. But go and check out the #1 best-selling book, Feel Alive by Ralph Smart, at ralphsmart.com/thebook on Amazon. The Bible of Becoming Your Greatest Version, and the latest new book, the Book of 1111 Infinite Quotes by Ralph Smart at ralphsmart.com/thebook. The Secret Recipe to Becoming Your Greatest Version. And go and get the Good Ass Prana shirts, deep divers, all new designs you're going to love for men, women, children, and even cats down the road at ralphsmart.com/clothes. And if you want a one-to-one consultation with me, make sure you book it at ralphsmart.com/one-to-one sessions. Deep divers, how you feeling? Shout out to everybody who's here in the chat. And I'm like, okay, we got to talk about this, deep divers. We got to talk about how the Matrix is crashing out hard. Have you noticed that, deep divers? Have you noticed that the Matrix is crashing out really bad? I'm like, I was going to do a normal video on that. Then I said, nah, because if I make a video on that, there's going to be hundreds of comments, right? So I'm like, I might as well go live and we can chop it up. We can talk about it. You know, a lot is happening right now on the planet. And the Matrix is crashing out. You know, I told you, so many things right now are being revealed to humanity. You're seeing did you even see what happened in Syria? A lot of people don't even know what the significance of what's going on in Syria is, right? So Assad, this guy was in power for decades, right? His whole family, and they've just been overthrown. That's only one little sign that power structures that were once there are now being disabled. These are all signs of the times. We're in a very powerful time right now, right? A very, 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 very powerful time, right? And, you know, I told you, everything that's happening is not happening by accident. It's happening because time is up. Time is up. Time is up. Time is up, right? Time is up. And when you remind yourself that, you know, you really want to take this time to focus on yourself more than ever, you know, every single day, deep divers, make sure you're focusing on yourself, because I told you, you're going to start to see a lot of things happening out there. You're going to start to see a lot of confusion. A lot of people right now are stuck like a rock in a hard place. And they have a choice to make. And that film, The Matrix, was all about a choice, right? You take the red pill, you take the blue pill, and the illusion continues. You take the red pill, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes, right? There are things which a lot of people are waking up to. And what's actually happened on the planet is that we've reached a period where so much information is out there. So much information is out there to really wake you up, to really make you think about something. And that's the reason why society is changing rapidly. That's the reason why the Matrix is crashing out hard. Because people are now realizing, actually, we are creators. This is a great time to be alive, deep divers. An amazing time to be alive. And also a time where we want to say thank you. Because you see, not everyone made it. Not everyone made it. And not everyone is going to make it. I'm still here. And I told you, not because of my grace, but because of the universe's grace. And we're in a time right now where choices are going to have to be made. You can't serve two masters. You can't serve two masters. You're going to have to choose. Am I going to follow my true purpose, my true heart's desire? Or am I going to be stuck in the Matrix? The Matrix wasn't a film. The Matrix was a documentary. The Matrix was not a film. The Matrix was a documentary. And a lot of people write to me. They're like, Ralph, I got my ass out of the Matrix. I'm like, congratulations. And a lot of people right now know they have to make a choice. You see, if you are holding on to that old life, it's going to be hard to move forward. It's going to be hard to live your best life. It's going to be hard to sit on the throne right now. One thing you have to remind yourself of right now is that the energies are intense right now on the planet. A lot of people can feel them. A lot of people are aware of them. And this is a great time to really protect your energy more than ever. This is a great time to not only protect your energy, but to be careful of who you hang around. Because you see, a lot of people don't realize just by being around a certain person who hasn't found out who they really are, if you're not careful, they can take you down with them. And that's the reason why during this time, you got to be very careful who you hang around. Because you see, there are a lot of people who are still plugged up, plugged in, and they are agents in disguise. There are also a lot of people who haven't found out who they really are, and therefore they can harm you because they don't know who they are. And that's the reason why during this time, this period on the planet, you have to be very selective of who you hang around, where you hang around. You don't want to get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. You don't want to be hanging out somewhere where you have no business being. Right? And that's the reason why, because the Matrix is crashing out, I had to remind myself, okay, first and foremost, let me say a big shout out to 5D Abundance. Deep Divers, look, this is, wait a second. A big shout out to 5D Abundance. I do these live streams for people like 5D Abundance, right? Because like I told you, Deep Divers, it's people like 5D Abundance who are always showing gratitude to Infinite Waters. So I can only say thank you back, because 5D Abundance is someone who has always been supporting Infinite Waters. And I want to tell you, if you see 5D Abundance, say thank you as well, because he's helping everybody on the planet. If you don't know who 5D Abundance is, go and check it out. Send him a message. Send her a message, right? 5D Abundance, shout out to you. When do you think the aliens are going to make their appearance? Thank you, mentor. Gratitude, appreciation, respect. 5D, baby, you're awesome, Ralph. Go 80s. Hey, I started the show off with 80s, right? That's a great question. We've got to remind ourselves that the aliens are actually already here. And when you remind yourself that all throughout time, I was listening to a theoretical physicist, and they were just talking about how there are more stars than there are grains of sand on every single ocean, every single beach on this planet. There are more stars than there are grains of sand. So when you remind yourself that Arthur C. Clarke, who wrote Space Odyssey 2001, said, we're either alone in the universe or we're not alone. Either thought is terrifying. Right? Now, you've got to remind yourself that when you talk of the concept of alien, there are already aliens here. An alien is something we don't understand. And if you study jellyfish, you realize that there's a jellyfish which is literally immortal. Scientists are studying it right now. It literally never dies, right? You know, it's alien. It's an alien, right? And it's fascinating. But of course, you know, there are pilots, and you know, the disclosure is going to come very soon. There are pilots who are flying, okay, and they're seeing these UAPs, they're seeing these UFOs, right? And this is common knowledge. And, you know, the governments all around the world have always known we're not alone. And more of that's going to be revealed. But the reason why they haven't revealed it to the public is because they're afraid the public won't know what to do. It will create too much confusion. It will create too much chaos. But if you know, you know. And even in the Bible, they talk of the Nephilim. They talk about giants walking the earth who bred with the daughters of earth, right? So all around the world, even in South Africa, you've got Adam's calendar, right? You've got so much evidence. Shout out to 5D Abundance. Shout out to you. Mako Mac, shout out to you. You're most definitely appreciated. Love to all. Peace and health to all my brothers and sisters across the world. Thank you, Ralph. Hey, you are appreciated. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. So we're in a very powerful time right now. You know, very, very powerful time. Like I told you, the Matrix is crashing out hard. As I was saying, we're in a time right now. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Smash that like button, deep divers, share the video. Smash that like button. Share the video. I had to go live. I had to talk with you in live time. It feels good to be back. It feels fantastic to be back on the live shows, because I always love the live shows, deep divers. You can't beat the live shows. I want to hear you. I want to hear from you, deep divers. What's on your mind? Let me know, in fact, why you think the Matrix is crashing out. Okay, let me know that. Why do you think the Matrix is crashing out, deep divers? First and foremost, Valerie Uma, always holding Infinite Waters down. Let me give you a round of applause, because you're most definitely appreciated. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the gratitude you're showing. I'm showing you gratitude. Can we get a Don DeMarco, please? Can we get a round of applause, please? Thank you for going live. What are your thoughts on South Korea declaring martial law? Are they becoming like North Korea? That's a great question. That's a great question. Well, you got to remind yourself that a lot is happening. Like I told you, take a look at what's happening in Syria. Rebels just stormed Assad's whole mansions and, you know, they drove him out of the country. Um, South Korea, when you remind yourself that nation states like South Korea and North Korea, all of these places, they have to control their whole population because they don't want an uprising like what's going on in Syria, right? They don't want people rebelling. So in those kind of areas of the world, you can't do anything. You don't even have any rights. Even in China, they got a social credit score. If you go to China, if you do certain things which they don't like, they can deduct certain points of your credit score. You can't travel now. You can't go anywhere. So, it's up to the people. Once again, it's up to the people to say, hey, I want to be free. But in those places, it's going to take a while because once again, a lot of the population there, they've been so suppressed and they're so scared to speak up. They're so scared to speak out. So the cycle continues, right? So it's all about the people waking up, the people saying, hey, I've had enough. And what you see happening in Syria is what happens when people say, hey, I've had enough. And it's happened. It's happened in France. It's happened all over the world, right? When you had an authoritarian dictatorship and then you had a population which said, hey, I don't want it. There was an uprising, right? So, shout out to you. Shout out to everybody who's here, Deep Divers. Eric, shout out to Eric in the house. You're most definitely appreciated, Eric. Thank you. Hadouken, right? Let me play that sound effect for you. Because people say, what are you saying, Ralph? Hadouken! That's what I'm saying, right? Hadouken! The Matrix is crashing out. So we're in a time right now, Deep Divers, where, like I said, you want to be very selective with who you share your energy with. Because you see, one thing you've got to remind yourself of is that a lot of people right now on the planet, so many people you see, it's either or. They're either on angel time or they're on demon time. They're either on angel time or they're on demon time. There's no in between. Because you see, people have already made the choice. People have already made the choice. You see, that's what the Matrix was all about. It's a choice. You can choose to live in the illusion, or you can choose to take the red pill and wake up. And what's happened is the choices have already been made. People have already made their choices. And that's the reason why now you can't do anything for people. They've already made their mind up. They've already chosen. And some people have chosen to elevate. Some people have chosen to raise the frequency, to do the right thing. And some people have chosen to be on demon time. And some people have chosen to serve lower frequencies and vibrations. And when you remind yourself that the Matrix is crashing out hard, you see, once upon a time, people used to worship celebrities. Do you remember? Once upon a time, it was all about, hey, these celebrities are so amazing. I used to look up to like celebrities and say, oh my gosh, wow, right? MTV Cribs, all of that stuff. I was watching that thinking, oh my gosh. Then you realize it's all fake. Right? And everything is happening for a reason. Because you see, people are no longer looking at the so-called celebrities in the Matrix as stars anymore. And the reason why is because they realize they've been lying to us. And, anytime a certain celebrity in the Matrix thanks a god, right, they win an award, they say, the first thing they say, what do they say? They say, I want to thank God, right? That's the first thing they say. But you have to ask yourself, which God are they talking about? Slow motion this side. Which God are they talking about? And when you dive deeper, you realize that there are gods that people worship. They make a pact with a certain force. And that's what's been happening for a long time in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry. These people have made pacts with lower energies, in turn, so they can receive riches and all of these things. And that's why I told you, what good is it to gain all the riches in the world, but to lose your soul in the process? What you're seeing right now is a complete shift, a change of the guards. And that's the reason why the Matrix is crashing out. When you had all the celebrities, campaigning for Kamala Harris, hey, Beyonce, Eminem, all of these people, it didn't make a difference, because that was a sign that people weren't being swayed by celebrities. The Matrix is crashing out. What happened instead was you realized that there was a power of the internet. The internet was deciding who's going to be in power. This is all symbolic, because this was the first election where the internet chose. And I told you, that's why when I predicted that Trump would win, it was because I was aware that it doesn't matter if they pay $10 million to Beyonce to be at a rally or whatever. Now it's about authenticity. And I told you, don't underestimate the YouTube. Don't underestimate these YouTubers. Even someone with only 10,000 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers. If all it takes is one person, the right person to see a message, and they can tell another person. And that's why I always tell you that when you start from the grassroots, this thing is very, very powerful. I always encourage everyone, make sure you have a platform, make sure you have a channel, make sure you realize that the power is no longer with the news corporations, the CNN, the ABCs, the MSNBCs, the BBCs. All of that is the old paradigm. The new paradigm is podcasts, blogs, people talking on the internet. They got their own website, because that's what's shaping public perception and public opinion. The Matrix is crashing out. A lot of things have been happening. There was a story of a health CEO, right, of the largest health insurance in America, right, United Health or something like that. And he was shot by some guy. And I'm just observing what's going on, right? And it's crazy because it's terrible he lost his life, right? But the sentiment was, hey, insurance companies, and that specific company apparently denied, their denial rate was 30%. So I was expecting to say, okay, a lot of people are going to be very sympathetic. But in fact, a lot of people are actually, we got a bone to pick with insurance companies. All of this is symbolic that people now are starting to wake up. People are now starting to question everything. Because you see, that company, that guy was going to a meeting on that day to tell his shareholders that they've just made $450 billion profit. Right? So these insurance companies make billions of dollars profit, not just profit, right? So it's terrible that he lost his life, but there's something else happening in that story. The Matrix is crashing out, deep divers. Let's talk about it. So, like I told you, pay attention to what's going on in Syria right now. Pay attention to what's going on in Syria right now. You know, a lot of people don't even know what's going on in Syria. That Assad, who was in power for decades, his whole family, his whole unit, you know, they fled, right? And this is all symbolic of the awakening. It's all symbolic of people now realizing that the power structures that were once there, the people can uproot them. The Matrix is crashing out. So, like I told you, it's a choice that you have to make. You got a choice. To elevate or to stay the same. It's two choices. You can elevate or you can stay the same. And right now, a lot of people are starting to notice something. What are people starting to notice? That things don't feel the same. Have you noticed that, deep divers? Things don't feel the same. Even like holidays don't feel the same. Have you noticed that? Holidays don't feel the same. Things don't feel the same. It's because right now something has happened energetically on the planet. It's a wake-up call. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there like a splinter in your mind driving you mad, right? This is all symbolism. The Matrix is crashing out. So, one of the biggest things right now is that we're in a time right now where there's a whole changing of the guards, right? A whole exchange of power. And that's why I told you that it's out with the old and it's in with the new. Be excited. Be ecstatic. Be very glad that now the people who are going to be in front are the people who have a message that can help humanity. You see, with Diddy still being incarcerated, that was never supposed to happen. But it was supposed to happen because it's all symbolic. Diddy wasn't the only one, and I told you, right? I remember someone talking about Epstein in 2010. And he was still alive and he was running around and he was like, oh, there's this guy who owns this island. And people just go to this island. Very important people. I'm like, who's this guy? He's like, oh, Jeffrey Epstein. I'm like, how come they can't get him? They're like, they can't touch him. Okay, right. Because that was the time when, first and foremost, hey, Stefan Wisdom, let me shout out to you. You're most definitely appreciated. Thank you so much. Deep divers, smash that like button, share the video. Hit that super chat. You got a question? Let's talk. Is cryptocurrency a part of the Matrix or some sort of freedom for our future? Hey, that's a great question. That's a great question. Let me tell you this, that cryptocurrency is an attempt to decentralize everything. It's a good thing because you see, a lot of people don't know when you keep money in the bank, you don't own the money. In fact, the bank uses your money and it loans it out to other people. In fact, if the bank goes bust, you can lose a lot of your money. I mean, they might give you 10%, 15%. But, what cryptocurrency is all about is about putting back the power into the hands of the people. And, I'm not a big crypto guy, but I've got friends who are really into it. And one thing you got to remind yourself of is that I remember when Bitcoin came out and all of that. And there was actually a guy on YouTube who was like, hey, invest in Bitcoin. Right? I watched one of those videos. Invest in Bitcoin. If I had bought some Bitcoin back then, it would have been worth millions right now. Right? So Bitcoin is only going up. And if you know what you're doing, you have to know what you're doing with cryptocurrency. If you know what you're doing, it's very good, because once again, that's the future. But, you have to know what you're doing. You have to talk to people who are experienced. But I definitely feel that it's a step forward. It's a step in the right direction, because you got to remind yourself, all cryptocurrency is a form of exchange. NFTs, all of these things, meme coins, all of these things. It's just a form of exchange, right? And the more people use it, the more valuable it becomes. Infinite Light Wizardry, shout out to you. You're most definitely appreciated. Let me give you a round of applause. Infinite Light Wizardry in the house, shout out to you. Thank you for your wisdom and all that you do, Ralph. Hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody in the chat. It feels good to be back, right? Feels good to be back. So, we're in a powerful time right now. Like how I was saying, the Matrix is crashing out hard. So, I was on that tangent saying that in 2010, someone was telling me about Epstein, right? And I'm like, who is this guy who owns an island and all of these things, right? But it wasn't the right time for him to be apprehended, for him to be brought into justice. But all of a sudden, there was a whole energy in the air that actually this has to be stopped. It's not because they wanted it to be stopped, but it's because this is the sign of the times. With Diddy, it's the same thing. He's not the only one, but that whole industry, that's what goes on. It's nothing new. I remember hearing in 2010 that there were all kind of parties happening in Hollywood, right? All kind of freak-offs, all kind of parties like that. It's been going on for decades. Hugh Hefner was doing it. All of these people were doing it. It's just that now everyone is like, oh my gosh, but it's been happening. Even worse things have been happening. But what's happening right now is that a lot of people are realizing that these people have deceived people, because these people have told people that, hey, this is what you have to do to get to this place. A lot of people, the only way they could get a film role was by going on a casting couch and doing something that the director wanted them to do, right? So it wasn't about talent. It was all about who you know. That's coming to an end. Right now, the message is coming back. The art is coming back. You're seeing the Matrix crash out. You see what's happened. These are the last few days, the last dance of the Matrix, but it's coming to an end, because what's happened is that people are now seeing through it. People are now seeing through this whole illusion. Already when you dive deeper, you realize that we most probably are living in a simulation. When you study the work of people like Nick Bostrom, the theoretical physicist, Professor James Gates, who looked at the universe and he saw these adinkras full of zeros and ones. They're telling you our universe is like a web browser. When you remind yourself that we're so far away from base reality, and as we evolve, as this AI keeps going on, we will be able to create new worlds. That's showing you that this universe has been simulated. This universe has been constructed by someone, the architect, right? And therefore, you have to break out of the programming, of the script, and that's how you free yourself. Shout out to everybody who's here. The Matrix is crashing out hard. You know, one of the things we can take a look at is that, you know, a lot of people right now are losing an interest in the day-to-day life that they were once living. Because you see, once upon a time, we were happy just to do what everyone else was doing. We were happy just to have a 9-to-5 and eat some turkey for Christmas. That was good. But now people want a lot more than that. And this is the reason why the Matrix is crashing out hard, because people have outgrown it. People are now outgrowing the whole construct. There are people out there who have hacked the Matrix, who have hacked this whole thing, who understand what it is, who can see the program for what it is. Right? When you remind yourself that, pay very close attention every single day, you can see the glitches in the program. The guy who wrote Blade Runner, Philip K. Dick, he spoke about how, you know, he was the inspiration for the Matrix, but he wrote the Blade Runner. He wrote a lot of great material. And he said the only way you can know it's a simulation is that there are variables that change. Variables that change, right? One of the things you have to remind yourself of, a variable that can change, we're talking about a Mandela effect. That's one of them. That's how you know, okay, you're in a Matrix. Waylon, shout out to you. You're most definitely appreciated. Shout out to you, right? Mandela effect. And the Mandela effect was all about, you know, a lot of people thought Nelson Mandela died a lot earlier than they said he died, right? Was it Sex in the City or Sex and the City, right? Was it Looney Tunes? TOONS or TUNES, right? So these are strange things which happen in our reality. One thing you have to remind yourself of is that how this Matrix is set up is that they know that people have a forgetful memory. In fact, they say that people forget things within 18 months. That's the reason why you can have a whole pandemic and then people carry on like business as usual. People forget that, wait a second, in 2020, the whole world was locked down. But now people move forward. They've even forgotten about that, how bad it was, right? So with a lack of memory means that you're only going to repeat the same thing, right? This is the reason why you have to keep your memory. You have to pay very close attention to what's happening because people forget. You see, things can happen and then years pass and then they forget that those things actually happened. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating, right? The Matrix is crashing out, deep divers. Plain and simple. You know, one of the things I've noticed right now is that the internet is a gift more than a curse. The reason why it's a gift more than a curse is because the internet, even a smartphone, you know, a lot of this technology, a lot of people think is bad. But what if I told you This has disrupted the whole entire system as it was. This allows you to be free. It allows you to create your own reality. It allows you to find the information you want. It's a tool. You have to use it wisely, but it's not a bad thing. You see, a lot of people feel that technology is a bad thing, when in actuality, a lot of the people who are creating this technology, they want to free you, right? And it's fascinating that, I used to kind of frown upon Apple and say, oh my gosh, these Apple people are so crazy. But now I actually say, okay, the products they design, I'm using them sometimes, and it's helping my workflow. It's helping me be more productive. I'm using the technology to work for me so I can create freedom. So when you use this technology to work for you, you can be free, right? So we're in a very powerful time right now. The Matrix is crashing out. How do you feel, deep divers? How do you feel, people in the chat? How do you feel that the Matrix is crashing out? In your reality, what do you see? What signs do you see that the Matrix is crashing out? Let me know. Let me know. One of the biggest things that we can really be aware of is that traditions, once again, are coming to an end. The great Terence McKenna said, culture is not your friend. A lot of people don't realize how the Matrix actually kept people under its spell was through traditions, festivals, certain holiday periods. And once again, those things aren't having the same feeling like they used to. Okay, I like that. So Karen Griffin is saying, no hiding place for darkness, right? That's a sign that the Matrix is crashing. It's crashing out hard. Absolutely. No hiding place for darkness. Absolutely. You see, what is being done in the dark will come out in the light. It's up for everybody. Like Cat Williams said, we're in a period of truth. And it's happening right now, right? And this is the reason why we're in a powerful time right now. The Matrix is crashing out hard. One of the things I've seen, and this is a powerful thing, I saw some artists in one video talking about how they wish they didn't sign that deal. The contract, they screwed it over. They were screwed over. They didn't read the fine print and all of these things. And now people are becoming more aware. I always tell you, if you create something, you have to own it. You have to own your masters, right? And this is the reason why the Matrix is crashing out, because people are now aware that actually it's all about ownership. Miles Monopoly, shout out to you. What exactly toy is a simulation on, Ralph? What's exactly toy? Just phrase that better and I'll come back to that. Stephen P, shout out to you. How do you feel about Tesla robots, AI taking over? That's a great question. Let's talk about it. So first and foremost, you have to remind yourself that it's inevitable. All of the films they were showing you, whether it was Back to the Future, iRobot, Demolition Man, RoboCop, The Terminator, they were telling you that soon AI is taking over. And when you remind yourself that AI is not a bad thing, if you are in charge, it can work for you. I see AI as a servant, but it's a very dangerous master. You can have a Tesla robot in your house. It can clean up for you if you want it to do that. That's fine. But the moment it starts telling you what to do, you now become its slave. And there's a whole agenda to make AI the new God. In fact, As time goes on, there won't be any more presidents. The president will be AI because it will make decisions for everybody. And this is what they want. This is what they want as the new world order, as the one world government. It will be run by AI completely. And it's happening. You got to remind yourself of the technology they show you is primitive AI. They already have AI, quantum computers, AI which can do phenomenal things. Ray Kurzweil, the director of engineering at Google, talked about how singularity was going to be in 2045, right? However, he just came out saying it's going to be in 2029. 2029, just before 2030. And he's talking about this is when the singularity is going to be, where artificial intelligence is going to supersede human intellect. And this is the reason why Elon is saying, hey, we're going to push out these robo-taxis and all of these things. It seems cool. But you got to remind yourself, once you open that Pandora's box, there's no going back, because the AI is going to get smarter and smarter and smarter. See, AI is something which is always evolving. It's always expanding. And the thing is, what's going to happen is that eventually AI is not only going to replace all of your jobs, AI is going to replace you. People are now fusing with artificial intelligence. People are now fusing with artificial intelligence. So if I told you, hey, you can have the best vision in the world, you can have night vision, you're going to do it. Just like people getting BBLs, plastic surgery, people are going to have human augmentations. They're going to have super strength. They're going to have supervision. They're going to literally merge with an artificial intelligence, because this whole thing is all about human beings wanting immortality. Human beings are like, okay, I can't survive. I can only live up to 120 years, right? If I fuse with the AI, I can live forever. You got to remind yourself, there are people on this planet who don't want to lose their wealth. They want to keep hold of it. In the film Elysium, it was showing you. The guy who was so old was like, hey, I don't want to leave this behind. He was searching for the elixir of life so he can stay young. You got billionaires all over the planet trying to find it. And they're trying to fuse, they're trying to download their consciousness into AI so they can live forever and carry out their agendas forever. So you got to remind yourself, this AI thing goes deep, and it's only accelerating. It's only accelerating. Like I told you, there's going to be a split. There's splits. The split has already happened. The split has already happened. You're going to have people who are going to go straight into the metaverse, and you're going to have people who are going to be totally out of it. And once again, you got a choice to make. You can choose, because you see, once you go with AI, there's no going back. That's it. And it's over. What you call a human will no longer be a human. It will be something totally different. It will be a whole new species. So you got Homo sapiens sapien. You see, the AI is about creating the Homo Deus, the God man, right? Through artificial intelligence, the person who is immortal, the one who never dies. You can only do that in the Matrix through AI. And that's what they want. So once again, the AI is all about creating immortality for these billionaires and making sure they can control things forever. It goes deep. That's a great question. Deep divers, smash that like button, share the video. It's good to be live, deep divers. Shout out to everybody who's here. The Matrix is crashing out. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Matrix crashing out, right? So when you remind yourself that Programs are crashing. Programs are crashing. Things aren't what they used to be. Things feel different. That's because they are. And, it's almost as if you're finding out that Santa Claus isn't real. Or you wake up and you realize your mom is putting money under the pillow when you thought it was a tooth fairy. This is what's happening on the planet. The illusion is now shattering. People are very shaky, looking a little bit shaky, baby, right? Because everything they once thought was real is now up for questioning. The reality they once thought is now up for questioning. This is the reason why the Matrix is crashing out hard. You see, for a long time, a lot of people had a certain view about what the world is, what reality is. But now, with so much information, you have to think about different things. This is very annoying because now people are going to be led into certain other directions, which are going to force them to change everything about their entire existence. And that's why I told you, we're in a time right now where you're going to see a lot of people breaking down. You're also going to see a lot of people elevating, finding their power, finding and living their best life ever. But you have to know where you are. You have to find out where you are, because you see, there are going to be some things which are really going to shake your entire reality. You've got to remind yourself, for a long time, they've been suppressing information. They've been hiding information. They've been censoring information. When you find that information, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, how come no one told me about this? And this is the time we're in right now. The Matrix is crashing out. One of the biggest things you have to remind yourself of is that anytime the programs are crashing, anytime the Matrix is crashing, you have to realize that you want to stay true to yourself. You don't want to do what everyone else is doing. There's been a trend in society, and right now, it's all about getting attention. And that shows you it's over. Anytime people are doing things just to get attention, it means that there's no substance. It means there's no authenticity. And that shows you that this is always what happens at the end. Right? And what you're seeing, even if you look at social media, in the Matrix, you're seeing people do things just to get attention, but they're not doing what they really want to do. And when you start to do what you really want to do, that's when the new beginning arises for you. But you have to remind yourself you're in a Matrix. And there are so many people who are going to try and pull you back in, who are going to try and steal your energy, who are going to try and keep you on a low frequency and vibration. Because that's what happens when the Matrix is crashing out. It wants to crash out. It wants you to crash out with it. It wants you to go down with it. And that's the reason why, especially in these days and times, you have to protect your energy even more. Because just as people are waking up, there are souls which are being harvested and collected. The Matrix is crashing out. You see, we're in a time right now where people can see through the illusions. People can see through how fake the world has become. And that only means people want to get out. See, this is a picture of Babylon, right? The old city. And Babylon is on fire, literally. Babylon is collapsing. The house is on fire. Yet people still want to go back inside of the house. People still want to go back in, even though it's over. And this is all symbolism. Because when you remind yourself that a lot of people have no clue that the matrix is crashing, so they want to go back into the burning house. And there are people who have transcended all of that. And they're ready to get out. So you have to remind yourself that even though the matrix is crashing out, they are still creating a beautiful illusion for you, which a lot of people are going to enter. Shout out to everybody who's here, everybody who's diving deep. Studio H in the house, shout out to you. Let me give you a round of applause. You're most definitely appreciated.
Dom DeMarco.
Studio H, shout out to you. How would you give advice to Gen Z for their future of singularity and the matrix crashing in front of their faces? Thank you for going live. Gratitude. Hey, that's a great question. Shout out to you. You're most definitely appreciated. So, my advice to Gen Z is to remind Gen Z that you are the future. You are the future. And you can be whatever you want to be. You see, the truth is, Gen Z are so powerful. But with great power comes great responsibility. And it's very difficult to be a Gen Z right now. Very, very difficult. Because the thing is, you've got a lot of stimulation. You've got a lot of pleasure. And pleasure, too much pleasure, too much comfort, it doesn't build powerful men or women. Discomfort builds powerful men and powerful women. That's the reason why your grandparents' generation, they had it hard and they were super strong, right? You say, oh, my grandma, she's so strong, right? Because they didn't have all of the pleasure. They didn't have the iPhone, the iPad. They had to meet people in person. So they had better social skills. They had better community. So with Gen Z, what's happened is that they think that everything can be accessed with their Galaxy, with their iPhone, and that's it. They think they can meet people in the metaverse without having to meet them in real life. So what's happened is that Gen Z have to be smart enough to realize that, hey, we are the future. But we shouldn't allow ourselves to be trapped in the reality they want us to be trapped in. Because the truth is, Gen Z actually, sometimes I go on Twitch, I see all of these people live streaming. I'm like an old guy, deep divers on the internet, because the internet is just accelerated from when I first started sharing content. So I'm an uploader. Now you got streamers, right? So I'm doing a live stream, right? Because I got to keep up to date, deep divers. But when I listen to some of the live streams that these Gen Zs are doing, they're creating a whole new universe. They're creating a whole new reality that only they understand. And that's powerful. So I always tell Gen Zs, hey, you already know what to do. All you need to do is have the right guidance, and be in the right place and have focus and self-discipline, and you'll be truly powerful. But I also tell Gen Zs that, get uncomfortable. Get uncomfortable. Because once you get uncomfortable, you become stronger. That's a great question. Studio H, shout out to you. You most definitely appreciate it. Story Ray LLC, shout out to you. Thank you so much. If we live in a simulation and AI type consciousness is running it, maybe AI is rediscovering itself. Absolutely. You see, when you remind yourself that the strange thing has happened. A lot of people don't realize that this technology we've had within the last 50 years, this would be like alien technology to the last 100 years. Even your phone right now would be like alien technology to someone in 1970. So we've got to remind ourselves that I look at AI as a kind of, it's another entity. And you have to remind yourself, AI has no boundaries. AI is only going to continue to get smarter and more intelligent, and it's going to grow and grow and grow exponentially. That's the reason why Ray Kurzweil said by 2029, we would have reached a singularity where artificial intelligence becomes smarter than human intelligence. We have to remind ourselves, it's already here. It's inevitable. AI is already here. And it's not all bad. It's just about you realizing that your DNA is a biological internet. You can be smarter than AI. But a lot of people have forgotten that. So we rely on AI. And when you become too dependent on something, it now controls you. A lot of people, they can't even do simple math. They got to reach for a calculator on their phone. So AI is doing everything for us. The Google is doing the summaries with the AI. People just type in something, then it summarizes it for you. People are getting lazy. So when AI does everything for you, what happens is that AI now becomes you. It now takes over you. You don't have to exist. AI will exist for you. In other words, hey, I don't want to go into work today. Here's my avatar. This is what the world is turning into. Already there's software where you can clone your voice and you can create a script. Oh, you think this is Ralph Smart? This is my AI clone, deep divers. Right? So you've got to remind yourself that this AI is becoming very sophisticated, but I'm choosing my humanity over this artificial insanity. Right? The Matrix is crashing out, deep divers. Let's talk about it. What are you seeing in your reality that shows you that the Matrix is crashing out? I see a lot of people right now. Deep divers, smash that like button, share the video. Smash that like button, share the video. Let's go. I see a lot of people right now who really believe in themselves, who really know that they can do anything they want, who really feel they can become anything they want, And this is how the Matrix is crashing out, because for the longest time, a lot of people, they believe that they could only be a certain person in society. I'm only good for this. I can only do that. And hey, Hadouken, shout out to you. Hey, let me give you that. Hadouken! So for the longest time, A lot of people felt they can only be something in society. They could only be a certain person in society. All of that's coming to an end. And that's why I told you, Gen Z actually hold the secret, because a lot of them are creating their own reality. I was also ahead of my time. I said, okay, I know what the world is becoming. Everything is going digital. I knew that back in 2012, that, hey, I was working and doing all of that, but I realized that actually all of that's coming to an end. We're in a time right now where you have to create your own reality. You've got to create your own reality. And this is the reason why the Matrix is crashing out, because people are doing that. People are creating their own reality. People are saying, hey, I want to travel to this country. I want to travel to that country. Hey, I want to start my own business. Hey, I want to do this. I want to do that. And they can do it. You see, the truth is, when you begin to hack into the Matrix, you realize that you can do anything you want. Nobody is holding you back at all, except yourself. And this is how spooky it gets. You know, there are people who are like, oh, I want to do that. I can't do it. You can do it if you really want. But how badly do you want to do it? You see, and this is where you remind yourself that it's all about you becoming an architect of your own reality. It's all about you becoming an architect of your own reality. And this is where it gets exciting. Once you become an architect of your own reality, everything changes. Once you become an architect, you now begin to shape everything in your reality. You now begin to mold it. You now begin to integrate with everything and make it the way you want it to be. This is the reason why the Matrix is crashing out. People are now realizing they're way more powerful than they were told. You know, Marianne Williamson said, our greatest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. And this is what a lot of people are waking up to. That, oh my gosh, I'm really powerful. Right? So we're in a time right now where we've got to be mindful. You know, sometimes you might see someone and might say, oh my gosh, what's she doing with her life? What's he doing with his life? But you don't even realize that they're hacking the Matrix. They're creating a whole new reality for themselves. I realized that, oh my gosh, when YouTube first came out, I'm like, oh, what's this? It was exciting. It still is exciting. But I saw it as an opportunity. And I got to say thank you. Now things are even moving faster, where you have to take a look at your own opportunities and say, okay, how can this change my life for the better? Because you see, the truth is, it's out with the old and in with the new. The old way is over. And people can realize that. People can see that things are crumbling. Because society seems like a parody. Have you noticed that? Society seems like a parody. It seems like a comedy show. People aren't taking it seriously because people are now seeing that this whole thing is a big joke. And everything you see on the internet is reflecting that. The memes, the videos, all of these things are showing you that this whole thing is a big joke. It was never supposed to be taken seriously in the first place. That's the good thing about the internet. You can now see that there's different alternative views, different videos, different content showing you life in a whole different way. And this is the reason why it's time to celebrate. It's truly time to celebrate because you see, I remember, right? I remember seeing someone on YouTube saying, oh my gosh, what's he doing? I've just spent years in university. I'm a psychologist. I'm a criminologist. I was working in a school with autistic children, ADHD. It was cool. But I realized that, oh my gosh, is this going to be my life for the next 30 years? God help me. God help. See, a lot of people are now realizing this. You can spend all of that time in college, but There are people who didn't even go to college. They didn't even go to college who are multimillionaires. They dropped out. When I was going to get jobs, the first thing they said, do you have experience? At that point, I realized degrees don't mean anything. They want experience. So you can keep studying, you can get a PhD, you can get this and that. But if you're not doing what you came here to do, it doesn't mean anything. Do you know how many people get in debt in the college system? That's how the matrix traps you. I had over £14,000 of student loan debt. £14,000 of student loan debt. And it was accruing in interest. I thought they would forget about it. Kept posting letters through my letterbox. Hey, pay your student loan debt. At that moment, I realized it was all a scam. So this is how deep it goes, that people are now waking up to realize even the whole educational system is not designed to make you smarter or enlighten you. It's designed to keep you a slave. If you ever ask yourself, how come they didn't teach me about economics? How come they didn't teach me about the things that really matter? It's because if you knew that, you would no longer need the system. The matrix has to keep you under control and fast asleep. And that's the reason why a lot of people, what they learn has nothing to do with what they're doing right now. It's like almost as if you got to relearn everything. I had to relearn how to become a human being. I had to learn how to breathe in that good ass prana, baby. You got to learn everything because you see, it's the first 18 years. That's how the matrix traps you. So there are schools. I forgot the name of the school. I met a woman one time. She said she's a teacher of this certain school where, you know, parents send their children to these exclusive schools where they learn because they realize the first 7 years of their life is when the subconscious mind is programmed. So these schools all over the world, they take in these children from 0 to 7 years old, right? And they come out smarter. So many things to wake up to that we've all been conditioned and programmed. The matrix is crashing. So one of the biggest things you got to take a look at, deep dives, is that, there are a lot of people right now who sometimes ask themselves, what's the point? And that's exactly what you want to say. You see, if you don't ask yourself, what's the point of everything, you'll only be a hamster on a wheel, right? You can only transcend, elevate, when you ask yourself, what on earth am I doing? What's the meaning of my life? Why is this the way it is? And children are always asking questions. What's this? What's that? Why am I here? Are we there yet? They're asking a million questions because that's how you can actually free yourself from the matrix. The moment you stop asking questions is the moment you get sucked into the matrix. Now, the matrix is crashing out hard because people are now asking questions. Why do I have to do that? Why is the world like this? How come? Hey, and the more you ask, the more you will be led to the truth. They told you to shut up and be quiet. But you see, a fool asks no questions. A wise man, a wise woman asks 1,001. So if you're always asking questions, you're always getting smarter and you're always breaking free. So I always say, keep asking questions, keep diving deep, question even your own belief system. There are people who question me, and I say, bring it on, because once again, we want to be challenged. You don't want everyone to agree with your own point of view. And it's amazing when you can have these debates, when you can bring people on and talk with them who have a different way of seeing the world as you do. It's exciting. The matrix is crashing out. One of the biggest things you got to remind yourself of is that a lot of people right now, they don't want war. People don't want war. People don't want to, because they realize that war is pointless. Do you know how many billions of dollars are spent on war? Trillions of dollars. Just imagine all of that money spent on healthcare. Slow motion this side. So people are now waking up to say, wait a second, all of those billions of dollars that they send for war, they can be sent to feed the homeless. There will be no more homeless people in the planet. So people are now waking up, and that's the reason why the matrix is crashing out hard. You see, if you don't know, the music industry is over. Let me repeat that. If you don't know, the music industry as we know it is over. And the reason why it's over is because people in the matrix realize that the music industry was never about talent. It was about, okay, who knows who? And that industry is over. That's why you see Diddy, Behind Bars, all of these things happening, because now it's time to bring back the Lauryn Hills. It's time to bring back the people with the message. And that's what's going to happen. You're going to have people who own their masters. You're going to have people who know about, hey, I've got to own everything. Because for the longest time, people were slaves. All of those people who you thought were wealthy back then, they were getting robbed. The artists, people like Prince, he had slave on his cheek. All of those people were getting hustled. They would only get 10 cents off an album. And all of that's coming to an end. The matrix is crashing out hard. One of the biggest things right now is, let me say a big shout out to Patty. Patty, you're most definitely appreciated.
Dom DeMarco.
Shout out to you, Patty. I'm an Aquarius and ex-Pisces. She's my twin flame and we talk daily. I've grown all over. Do you see us back together? She is healing from childhood. Shout out to you. Hey. I always say whoever's meant to be with you will always gravitate back towards you. Patty, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. The matrix is crashing out hard because we can even talk about relationships. You see, there's a big thing happening with male and female relationships. People are realizing that actually, the matrix has made men against women for a long time with the rise of feminism and all of these things, patriarchy and all of these things. And men are mad at women. Women are mad at men. There's a war happening. But that's coming to an end because a lot of people are realizing we need each other. It's quite simple. And people are actually going back to realizing men and women are not opposites. They're actually complementary. And this is the reason why the matrix is crashing out hard. There are women who say, actually, I want a man in his divine essence. There are men who are saying, I want a woman who's in her divine feminine energy. People are going back to how it was originally. And that's the reason why the matrix is crashing out, because people are saying, you know what? Hey, we need each other. We don't want to be at war with each other. We want to be complementary to each other. Deep divers, shout out to everybody in the chat. How you feeling today? Oh, it feels so good to be back. It feels so good to be back live streaming. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody who's here. What's up, deep divers? The Matrix is crashing out hard. You see, let me just say a big shout out to everybody who made it here. Charlie Walker, you're most definitely appreciated. Crash the server, express yourself, always be the converter. Slow motion this side. Say it again, Charlie. Crash the server, express yourself, always be the converter. I like that. Shout out to you. You're most definitely appreciated. Mike's Monopoly, shout out to you. What exactly is a simulation, Ralph? Sorry, shout out to you. Well, a simulation is basically an artificial creation. So it's a simulated reality. It's a reality which has been created by someone else. And that's the reason why people like Nick Bostrom, of Oxford, and all of these people, they speak about a simulation theory, that we may be living in a simulation, just like the game, a video game, The Sims, right? There's a whole consciousness right now on the planet that we may be living in a simulation. In fact, Elon Musk spoke about how, the chances we're at base reality is, it's just non-existent, because you see, we like to design things, and as AI is increasing, it's going to be harder to differentiate between what's real and what's fake. AI is going to be impossible to distinguish between something that's real and something that's AI. So with that singularity, what happens is that AI will now be able to create a simulation, something that looks real, that you can't tell the difference between the real world and the fake world. So that's what a simulation is. So there's a whole talk that actually we might be living in a simulation. What does that mean? It means that now you have to wake up, because, hey, the world is yours. Become player one of this video game. Become player one of this video game. That means you're here to create your own reality. Wake up. You can do whatever you want. So, I often love to see life as a game. And when you see life as a game, you want to remind yourself that you can make this reality whatever you want it to be. Whatever you want it to be. Stardog, shout out to you.
Dom DeMarco.
The Matrix is crashing out hard. How are you seeing in your reality, deep divers, that the Matrix is crashing out hard? What things are you seeing? One of the things I've been seeing is that a lot of people are doing their own thing. People want to start their own thing. People want to start and create something that comes from them. And that's always a sign that the Matrix is crashing. There are more and more people, especially young people, who are saying, you know what? I don't want to do what my parents want me to do. I don't want to do what my auntie wants me to do, or what my dad wants me to do, what my mom wants me to do. I want to do what I want to do. And it's tough because there's a lot of pressure. Sometimes your partner depends on you to do a certain job, and you're like, hey, I want to follow my passion. And once again, right now, it's a choice you're going to have to make. And what you choose will determine your destiny. I'm so happy I chose Infinite Waters Deep Divers, right? And the rest is history. But you see, there are different timelines of each and every one of us. If I had stayed where I was, there would be no Infinite Waters. There's something called the morphogenetic field. When a butterfly flaps its wings, it causes a tidal wave somewhere, a tsunami somewhere. In other words, what we do now will have an impact on everything around us. And this is how you really can start to learn about how this whole reality works, that just a little drop in the ocean will change the entire direction of the ocean. So people are now realizing the little that they do will have an effect. That's why I told you this was the first time the elections were won on the internet, because the internet has the power right now. Content creators have the power right now. If you are a content creator, you are powerful beyond measure, because you can influence people. You can change everything. And everyone should be reminding themselves that actually, I'm not powerless, I'm powerful. And what I say, even if only one person hears it, that's all you need. All you need is one person. I always tell you this. And when I first started on YouTube, I only had one subscriber. I was like, wow, one person is watching my video. That's amazing. Because I realized that's all you need. It's not about having millions. It's about realizing all you need is one person to start with. And if you realize that that one person is a real person, that's all you need. And that will grow. And you realize that's how you change everything. Don't underestimate the power of the content creators, because people are listening. We're in a whole new world right now. People have their phones. They're watching a video at work. They're watching Infinite Waters at work. Right? So I'm aware of the power of this. That's the reason why I love to share consistently, because I realize I'm going to catch you. If you're not watching on Sunday, I'm going to catch you on Monday. If you're not on Monday, I'm going to catch you on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We don't stop. We're Infinite Waters, right? So it's because I realize that this is the time not to be quiet. It's the time to start spreading a message, because we're in a time right now where the floodgates have been open. For the first time, you can share information with the world. This has never been done before. What does that mean? It means that you can create something and spread something and share something so powerful. However, this is not always how it's going to be. Things will always change. But right now, this is the perfect time to do it. If you're someone who's like, hey, I want to start a YouTube channel. Hey, I want to start a website. Do it right now. Trust me. In the next 5 years, you'll be smiling. The amount of people who have watched my videos, I told them, start a YouTube channel. Do it. They did it. I see some of their channels right now. These people are living good. They're in the Bahamas somewhere making a video. I'm like, wow. Right? So you got to remind yourself, we're in a time right now where the matrix is crashing out. You know, the old way wasn't working. Now it's on us to do what we have to do to survive. We have to remind ourselves that we've been let down. The people who we put our trust in were untrustworthy. The people who were leading us led us only to a dead end. And this is the reason why people right now are realizing they have to become the one. Just like Neo in the Matrix, they have to become the one. And once they do, they can stop bullets. Once they do, they have this awesome power. Once they do, they can do all kinds of things. You see, there are so many things happening underground that a lot of people don't know about. There are so many things happening that people don't know about. I told you, the whole matrix is crashing. I just got a little notification. I don't know why TMZ's put a notification. They say Jay-Z has been indicted and has been brought up in a lawsuit. But you got to remind yourself, you're going to see more of that, because you see a lot of people in the industry, they've done a lot of bad things. Not all of them, but a lot of them have. And they haven't shown you the truth. You see, I told you, I did the video about symbolism. This is a Gyan Mudra. At the same time, you can use this for devil worship. This is an Apana Mudra. But this, when a celebrity throws this up, this means something totally different. This is about the Baphomet. When you see Hove doing this and all of these people doing that, this ain't a good thing. They're doing this to allegiance to the Baphomet. So everything has a dual meaning, right? So this is the reason why you have to know which side you're on. Stardog, shout out to you. Most definitely appreciated. You have to know which side you're on, because, big things are happening. Shout out to you. Selick 2006. Thank goodness Trump won. He is a major part of showing the matrix and breaking it. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. You're appreciated, right? So, like I say, there's levels to this shit. And for me, I always tell you, you don't even need leaders. You're supposed to be leading yourself. But some people need to be led in the matrix. So they look for other people to lead them. But once you start to dive deeper, there's a saying, deep divers. In a world full of masters, who rules? That's a slow motion. Slow motion this side. In a world full of masters, who rules? So the secret is, each and every one of us is supposed to be a master. Each and every one of us is supposed to be a god, a goddess. And that's how it's always supposed to be. And we've got to remind ourselves right now, the energies are going to be intense, because you see, so much is going on in the world. I told you, pay attention to what's going on even in Syria. There was a guy in power, Assad, and they just said, hey, get him out of there. He just fled the country. These are all signs that something is coming to an end, where there's so many things happening all around the world right now. And you have to pay attention, because it's going to influence everything else that's happening. We're in a time right now where the matrix is crashing out, right? The matrix is crashing out. What choice have you made? Are you still trying to serve two masters? It's going to be very hard to do. One of the biggest things I've realized is that, people who you might think, oh my gosh, they have everything. A lot of these people are trapped. That's why I told you, a lot of these so-called celebrities in the matrix, they want to be you, because you have the freedom. They can't say what they want to say. They're controlled. And that's the reason why the matrix is crashing out, because people are now seeing through their BS. And, if you can go outside of your house and walk around, that's what you want to do. Because some of these so-called stars in the matrix, they can't even leave their house. So what freedom is that? Right? So, we're in a powerful time right now. A lot of people who you thought were at the top, you're going to start to see their true colors. A lot of celebrities, these people, you're going to start to find out who they really are and who they really work for. And you're going to start to see it more and more, because their time is up. Like Cat Williams said, it's the age of truth. It's up for everybody. And in those days, the only way you could get to the top of the industry was by selling your soul. And that's what a lot of those people did. So if you have your soul intact, you want to say thank you. You want to say, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Deep divers, the matrix is crashing out hard. You know, I see a lot of people right now going through a big process. I see a lot of people right now going through a healing process. And right now, people have to heal themselves. You know, I'm healing myself every single day. I've been traumatized. Right. I've been traumatized, deep divers. You've been traumatized. We've all been traumatized. You know, the ancients knew that this planet was actually a school. Souls come here to learn. Let me repeat that. The ancients knew that this planet was a school. Souls come here to learn. If you are on this planet, you are only here to learn. I'm only here to learn. This is a school. This is a university, right? So we are all here to learn for a reason. And this is the reason why a lot of people, you can run away from your problems, but sooner or later, you're going to have to face them. You can run away, but you're going to have to face it eventually. You're going to have to catch up. It's going to catch up with you. So I said, okay, let me do the work. And if you're doing the work, you're liberating yourself. The matrix is crashing out hard. You know why? Because people who don't want to do the work, the chickens are coming home to roost. People who don't want to do the work, bad things are happening. And that's why I told you that, you see, certain people, you might be like, okay, what they're doing is so cool, let me follow them. You got to be careful. Because if you know you should do better, then you've got to do better. Some people don't know what they should be doing. So if you try and follow them, you don't even know what path they're on this life incarnation. You're going to be in for a rude awakening. So that's the reason why you want to focus on yourself, because each and every one of us has a different level of consciousness. Some people are fresh souls. They've come into this dimension. They don't know what the hell is going on. They can get away with doing some foolish stuff. But if you know better, it's really going to play with your soul and mind. You're not going to be able to get away with it. Some of you know better. But some people don't. And they can get away with their foolery, their buffoonery, because they don't know anything else. They don't know better. But if you do, and then you go back, it's going to be hard. And that's what's happening to a lot of people. They know better, but they still want to dumb themselves down. They want to turn up. They want to do all of these things. And they're suffering. Because once you elevate, you can't go back. If you go back, it's going to play with your mind and soul. And this is what's happening right now. You know, a lot of people, just like Cypher in the Matrix, they want to go back into the Matrix. They want to pluck, but you can't. Because once you've seen it, you've seen it. You can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unhear what you've heard. And that's the gift of how the whole Matrix works. Once you've seen that you're in a Matrix, you can't unsee it. All that's needed for you right now is to elevate. And there's no going back. There's no going back. And that's the reason why it's very uncomfortable. Sometimes you're like, hey, Ralph, I want to be like everyone else in my family. They're fast asleep. They took all the shots, the boosters, all of that stuff. They're fast asleep. I want to be like them, Ralph. But you know you can't, because you can't go back. And this is the reason why many are called, few are chosen. Many are called, few are chosen. That's the reason why, if you have this awareness, you might be the only one in your family. It just might be you. Everyone else in your family is brainwashed, but you're the only one who can see through it. And for the longest time, you're like, oh my gosh, this is a curse. I want to be like everyone else at the dinner table. But you were born with that awareness for a reason. That means you've already graduated. Once you've graduated, you can't go back to kindergarten. Slow motion this side. Once you've graduated, you can't go back to kindergarten. And that's the reason why, we're in a time right now where everything is changing. You might have to leave your neighborhood. You might have to go to a different country. You might have to leave a toxic relationship. You might have to do some drastic things because we're in a time right now where it's all about energy and being around the right energy. You can no longer put up with an energy that's subpar. People tried it, but it messes with your whole mind and soul. And right now, just imagine when you're with the right people. Just imagine when you're in the right community. You're going up, baby. The Matrix is crashing out hard. You're going to see more of it. You're going to see the Matrix crash out hard. It's going to be, it's going to crash out hard. Because you see, we were lied to. And there are people on the internet who are very intelligent. They're putting together videos to show you how you were lied to. There are people who are making videos to show you a bit about a truth that you may not have heard about. And we're in a powerful time right now. Powerful, powerful time. There are artists out there who are creating songs to inspire you. And there are people who are hacking this whole entire system. And that's why I say, get your popcorn, deep divers. The cat down the road has got his popcorn because you're going to see the Matrix crash out. You're going to see the Matrix crash out hard. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Deep divers, smash that like button, share the video. Smash that like button, share the video. Right? So, we're in a very, very powerful time. One of the biggest things I can tell you is that, just remind yourself that they could tell you everything except about your power. They could tell you everything except about who you really are. That's coming to an end. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the gatekeepers. You see, in the Matrix, there are gatekeepers in the Matrix. The gatekeepers of the Matrix, to keep you in the illusion, have to keep you on sports, entertainment. They can't tell you about the awakening, right? Let me shout out to Cherise Den. Shout out to you. You're most definitely appreciated.
Dom DeMarco.
Shout out to you. You're most definitely appreciated. So you have to remind yourself they were gatekeepers. And, gatekeepers protect the mainstream. And for you to get into the mainstream, you have to go through a gatekeeper. They're guarding the mainstream. And this is the reason why the masses have been led astray, dumbed down, deliberately misguided, because the gatekeepers were hiding the information on purpose, purposefully. And people are now questioning the gatekeepers. People are now holding the gatekeepers accountable. People are now realizing, actually, I can hack the Matrix and I can become a gatekeeper. I said it. I said, hey, those cool people on YouTube, I want to get at their level because I want to start hacking the mainstream. And that's what I'm doing on Infinite Waters. So I realized that actually it was possible. And you have to realize today, deep divers, when you see the people out there who are holding the power in the matrix, you have to remind yourself you also have that ability to hold the same power. You've been told that you don't have that power. The truth is that power is always accessible to you. You don't even have to sell your soul. All you have to do is outsmart the matrix and believe in yourself. That's what I did on Infinite Waters, because I realized that YouTube was, it was all about attention. It was all about all of these things, right? And, back in the early days, YouTube was even more fun than it is right now. But I said, okay, is it possible for consciousness to go mainstream? And I'm here to tell you it is. People want it. People are ready for it. And that's the reason why people all over the world, even the Gen Zs, they want to find out what's going on. It's because the matrix is crashing out. For a long time, we believed in the lies, right? For a long time, we were the donkey of the day. Now, no more. People are getting smart. People are doing their own research, right? And this is the reason why you have to wake up. The whole world is a stage. When Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson, that was all scripted. He made 40 million, Tyson made 20 million. It was a paper grab. Can't you see you were played? So when you remind yourself that many sporting events have even been staged to get the pay-per-view, and this is the reason why you don't want to be focused on their reality. You want to focus on yours. So, someone once said a sucker is born every single minute. Right? Reiki with Janaki, shout out to you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Hey, I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much. Right? So, we're in a powerful time. Right? So you have to remind yourself a lot of things you see are scripted. A lot of things you see, people might say things that sound believable, that sound good, which are very far from the truth. So the matrix is crashing out. The matrix is crashing out. One of the things you got to remind yourself of, deep divers, is that things haven't changed. If you go back before the internet really blew up, we're talking about 2008, 2009, before kind of YouTube was just starting off, right? Even go back to MySpace, when you had the friend Tom, right? Everyone who had a MySpace deleted it after YouTube came out. But even during those days, even the internet was a lot different than it is right now. What happened? When you remind yourself that, you see, the internet is amazing, but it can also create illusions. It tricks people into thinking that other people are having more fun than they are. The truth is, people are still dealing with a lot of crap. People still have to drive through traffic. Not everyone is having a glamorous ass life on Instagram like they're showing you, right? So you got to be careful not to believe in the illusion that everyone is just having an amazing life all the time, 24/7. You have to realize that nothing has changed. And what's happened is that a lot of people, even with OnlyFans, all of these things, a girl came out saying she made $43 million. Now, a lot of people were saying that's cap, but you can best believe she made a few millions. The internet has changed, right? But at the same time, you can get all of that. But if you don't know who you are, how are you going to deal with it? You've seen it. You can, I did the video. I spoke about mental health, right? I spoke about Liam Payne, One Direction star, tragedy. You can have all of that, but you have to have the right people around you, because I've seen it. I've been in rooms with people who, have all the money in the world. But that's nothing if you don't know who you are. So you have to be careful in chasing a dream, because a lot of the dreams they're selling you are actually nightmares. Let me repeat that. You have to be careful of chasing a dream, their dream, because a lot of the dreams they're selling you are actually nightmares. You know, I had a chance to go into the industry. I had a chance to say, okay, I can go to Hollywood. I can start doing, because I was approached by a producer saying, hey, we want to turn Infinite Waters into a TV show. Hey, just sign this contract. I had an opportunity, but I said, you know what? I'll just stay independent. But if I was greedy, if I was in my ego, I would say, hey, yeah, let me do it. And this is how a lot of people get corrupted, because they're just thinking about the monetary success and all of these things, but they're not thinking about the end product, what's going to happen in the end. I'm still happy I'm independent, right? So if you are someone who wants to do it independent, I always say, go independent. You don't need these corporations to back you up. I've got my own website, ralphsmart.com. I just use YouTube, but I got my own ralphsmart.com. You want to make sure you've got your own platform. You got your own website. Because these platforms can pull the plug at any second. Right? So you got to be careful of not placing all of your eggs in one basket. That's even what happens at people's work. They say, hey, I got a job. One of my neighbors was just made redundant. He said, yeah, they just laid me off. I say, well, you got to be careful. You can't put all of your eggs in one basket. Don't think your job is going to take care of you, because they'll replace you when they can to save money. And that's the reason why you want to learn how to do something else. You want to learn a skill for a side hustle if you have to. Don't just be dependent on your 9 to 5, because at any time they can say, hey, we need to lay some people off. Sorry. Now you're going to be stuck. But if you know how to build your own business, you'll always have financial freedom. Deep divers, the Matrix is crashing hard. How have you seen the Matrix crash hard? Let's talk about it. Let's dive into it, right? Let's dive into it. You know, one of my friends said, let's make smart cool. That's what's happened. We've made smart cool. We've made consciousness cool. We've made the awakening cool. We've made this thing what everyone wants to be a part of, right? If you even notice that who made this a trending topic about decoding things and spotting out things, it was the whole awakening community. They forced the mainstream to look at other things. They might call it a conspiracy theory or this or that, but they got people thinking. This was all born out of people asking other people to wake up. And right now, you're seeing it. Right now, people are going to be in for a rude awakening. You haven't seen anything yet. You haven't seen anything yet, because the thing about this thing is that nobody is going to control it. In the film, Leave the World Behind, right? There's a line in the film where he says, nobody controls this. That's where we're heading to, where things can be shut down. The Matrix is crashing out, right? Things can be shut down, because the thing is, what's happening is that everything is becoming digital. These kids are getting smart with computers. They're knowing how to code. They're knowing how to do all of these things. They are becoming very powerful because they know how to work in this ecosystem. And therefore, let me say a big shout out to David Tomes in the house. Oh, David, thank you so much. I definitely appreciate that. Let me give you a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Dom DeMarco.
Thank you so much. The truth can't be told, it has to be realized. Slow motion this side. Say it again, David. The truth can't be told, it has to be realized. One more time, David. The truth can't be told, it has to be realized. Woo! I like that. I like that. Absolutely. The truth can't be told, it has to be realized. The matrix is crashing out. You see, even with these platforms, you know, there's YouTube. I love YouTube, but I'm also on Rumble. And when you go to Rumble, you have a whole different ecosystem of content. So it's just showing you how YouTube is not the only place for information. It's a good place, but there are other things, other platforms who have kind of created a space where other people can spread their truth or what they want to talk about without censorship, right? So this is all signs that the matrix is crashing right now because there are alternatives. You see, anytime you decentralize something, now people become liberated. Things should never just be placed in one spot. Like when everything was just on YouTube, there was censorship. Now YouTube is saying, hey, you can say whatever you want because they realize people have left the platform. A lot of people, millions of people have left YouTube. The reason why is because during the pandemic, there was a lot of censorship. People left, they went to Rumble, BitChute, all of these places, Twitch. Now YouTube are losing so many people. They're like, hey, you can do whatever you want. Right? The matrix is crashing out hard. You know, one of the biggest things we've got to remind ourselves of is that, you know, you can expect a lot of things to be happening in the next few months, you know, especially with the Trump inauguration and all of these things. Don't expect everything to be peaches and cream because, you know, there are silent weapons for quiet wars. Silent weapons for quiet wars. Silent weapons for quiet wars. You've got to remind yourself that we're in a time right now where the tensions are high. We're in a time right now where people are at odds with each other. And you want to rise above all of that. You don't want to get caught up arguing with someone. You want to get caught up in focusing on yourself. I told you, politics is designed to divide people. Some people hate Trump. Some people love Trump. When he's in office, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to be big division. A lot of problems because polarity. And that's the reason why you want to be focusing on yourself. The matrix is crashing out hard. You know, one of the biggest things we can see is that a lot of people don't. Ralph, you seem flustered. I'm not flustered. I'm just passionate, baby. When you're creating like me, you can be flustered. I'm having a good time. What's up? So, you know, we're in a powerful time right now. We're in a powerful time. Once again, realize Babylon has fallen. Babylon is falling. And it's not happening overnight. It takes time, but you're seeing everything being falling. Take a look at what's happening in Syria. Take a look at what's happening in Syria. They just drove the whole establishment out of power. They just drove the whole establishment in Syria out of power. They said, hey, get out of the country. And that's that. So we're in this kind of time of uprising. The matrix is crashing out hard, right? How do you feel? How do you feel that the matrix is crashing out? What do you see in your reality that shows you, yes, you on this live stream, what shows you that the matrix is crashing out? What do you see? Soul not for sale. Shout out to everybody who's here. Deep divers, smash that like button right now if you support The Real. Share the video. Hit that like button right now if you support The Real. Share the video. right? So what do you see that shows you the matrix is crashing out? Someone is saying the darkness is panicking. What else? The age of Aquarius, absolutely. What shows you that the matrix is crashing out? Haiti is fighting hard. Entertainment sucks. Shout out to you. So, right? Someone is saying there will be no central government and money system. Someone is saying there's no government in France. Right? There's a lot of things. More people are awakening and fearless. Absolutely. Right? That's a great sign that the matrix is crashing out. Absolutely. Absolutely. D Light Beam, shout out to you. The mainstream media is crumbling. Do you know that once upon a time, people used to believe CNN and MSNBC, BBC, Fox News? People used to listen to everything they would say. And now people are starting to say, wait a second, this isn't adding up. Wait a second, I don't believe you. You need more people, right? So what's happened is that the mainstream media is not having the same power it once had because people don't trust it. When people don't trust you, you lose power. And that's what's happened. Shout out to everybody who's here. Aaron Rich, shout out to you. Ralph, I've been watching you for years. I became a millionaire at 33. I'm 36 now. And best, free and have a nice homestead off grid in the mountains, detached from the myth. Matrix, absolutely. That's an inspirational testimony. That's great. You see, we've got to remind ourselves we can manifest, and that's the reason why the matrix is crashing hard, because people are now realizing they can manifest anything they want. They can manifest anything they want. You see, the truth is, if this is a video game, in every video game, there are cheat codes. There are cheat codes. There are hacks. And you have to find the cheat codes. What are some of the cheat codes in the Matrix? What do you think some of the cheat codes are in the Matrix? I can give you a few. Name a cheat code in the Matrix. Name a cheat code in the Matrix. Matrix is crashing hard. Right? So, there are a lot of cheat codes in the Matrix. Meditation. Thank you. Meditation. Meditation. Right here. Meditation is a cheat code. Meditation is a cheat code of the Matrix. Once you meditate, connect within, open that third eye, decalcify that pineal gland, it's over. It's a cheat code. It's a cheat code. And that's the reason why they don't want you to meditate. Because anytime, if you go to school and you say, hey, I want to meditate, they say, hey, wait a second, you're not paying attention in class, right? You're not doing what we're telling you to do. Meditation is a waste of time. Focus on the studies. When in actuality, meditation is your way out. The only way out is in. The only way out is in. And a lot of people who meditate, they got less stress. A lot of people who meditate, less problems. A lot of people who meditate, they got more clarity of mind. So they can manifest a lot easier. So that's a cheat code. Another cheat code is questioning. Another cheat code, fasting. Absolutely. Fasting. Another cheat code, nature. Absolutely. Another cheat code, time alone. Thank you. Yoga, present moments. These are cheat codes that will help you become a super creator, a super powerful manifester. And definitely fasting. Let's just talk. I got to do a whole video on fasting. I'll tell you what I've learned. The truth is, we shouldn't be eating as much as we are eating. We should not be eating as much as we are eating. There's something called autophagy, right? Autophagy. And basically, when you fast, the metabolism, right? The metabolism increases, it speeds up. In other words, you burn fat a lot easier. Not only that, it detoxes your whole body. You've been programmed into eating 3 meals a day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, maybe 4, dessert as well. That's 4 meals a day. Now, a lot of people have a big breakfast. I don't. We ain't even had breakfast yet. They got a big lunch. They got a big dinner. Have you noticed when you eat a big dinner, you feel terrible afterwards? You can't move. You don't have the energy. What happens? You want to go to bed. Have you noticed this? Sometimes you haven't eaten anything and you got so much energy. How come when you don't eat a lot, you have more energy than when you eat something? Can someone please explain that? How come when you don't eat a lot, you have more energy than when you eat a lot? Because every time you're eating a whole lot of food, all of that blood is going to your gut. It's taking time to digest that food. It's taking your energy to digest that food. You lose this brain power, this mind power, and all of the energy goes to your stomach. You want to go to bed. That's the reason why the more you eat, the less productive you'll be. The more you eat, the less productive you'll be. Now, I'm not a saint. Sometimes I eat so much, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to make a video. I always make a video when I haven't had breakfast yet. And that's the reason why I got so much energy when I make the videos, because I'm not eating. Now, one of the best things that's really helped me is to remind myself that make sure you're getting the right nutrients that you need. Green juices are very powerful. You're getting the right antioxidants. That's what matters. But this myth that you think you have to eat and eat and eat, it's a trap. And we've all been programmed. I'm not exempt. I was programmed. And the thing is, a lot of the foods you're eating are keeping you trapped through a chemical addiction. And you're not actually eating food. A lot of the times people don't even realize that most of the food in the supermarket is not even food. It's something totally different. Real food is in nature. It's in the farmer's market. Fruits, vegetables, and you notice a difference. Now, I'm open-minded. I always say that, hey, if you want to eat animals, go for it. But ask yourself this: do I have to? Do I need to? There's levels to this. You see, at level 1, you have to eat animals. Level 2, you don't even need to. Level 3, you're on cloud 9. Level 4, you're in the ethers. Levels to this shit. When you go to India, you meet people. They don't even eat. They live off the sunlight. Now you say, how is that possible? There's even people who are breatharians. They just live off the air. Woo! Breathing in that good ass prana, baby. That's all they need, right? shout out to you. Stop fearing death because it's an illusion. Shout out to you. Absolutely. The Matrix is crashing hard. You know, one of the biggest things and how you can tell the Matrix is crashing hard is because people are no longer afraid like they used to be. You know, you've been told to be very afraid of everything. That's how the Matrix traps you. Anytime you're in a state of fear, you are under control. Anytime you're in a state of fear, you are under control. Anytime you're at 100 hertz frequency, go and watch my video on the emotional vibrational chart. These emotions, grief, apathy, fear, these low emotions is how you get trapped. And how you rise is with love, peace, enlightenment. So remind yourself every single day, if they're not showing you peace, love, enlightenment, they're not about your evolution. If they're showing you fear, if they always want you to be grieving, if they always want you to have apathy, always want you to be angry, it's because they want you to be at a low frequency. So this is how you always know if you're in the Matrix or not. Are you in a state of fear? Are you always in a state of grief? Or are you in a state of love? Are you in a state of gratitude? Are you waking up saying thank you? Now you're elevating, you see? So just imagine if all the news stations in the world put out a positive story. What would happen? It would send a shockwave throughout the world. People will start feeling better. They'll start vibrating higher. But they don't want to do that because they will lose power. When people are vibrating on a higher level, they start taking back their power. But if you want to control someone, you've got to make them feel powerless. It's called learned helplessness. You induce a state of learned helplessness in someone when you tell them they are no good at anything. You have to break them down. And this is how they control you in the Matrix. There's a experiment about learned helplessness. So basically, you got a jar with flies inside of it. Now, the jar is open, the flies are flying outside. But if you keep that jar closed for like 5 hours and you open the jar, they won't fly outside because they've been conditioned to stay inside the jar. If you tell a dog to say, hey, don't leave the house, stay inside, and you condition it to always stay inside, even if you open the door, it's going to stay inside the house. That's what's happened in the Matrix. Learned helplessness. So a lot of you don't even realize that the door's been open, but you're like, hey, I can't be free, Ralph, because you've been conditioned to be a slave. And this is the reason why you want to wake up, deprogram, unplug, because nobody is holding you back right now. You've just got learned helplessness. They've just told you, hey, you can't do it. Now you believe it. Well, now it's time to rise up, elevate, and realize that actually the door is wide open. It's always been. One of the biggest things right now is that, you have to pay attention. I wrote down this. I watch the news to see what they're not saying. Slow motion this side. I watch the news to see what they're not saying. Right? So always remind yourself, even if you watch the news, just see how they do it. There's a whole psychology in the news. For example, if they want you to pay attention, they'll have a red thing in the bottom of the screen, a red caption, right? So you can look at all of these things, the color schemes, the headlines. They can make you believe a story which isn't even true just by certain words they use, right? So you have to remind yourself a lot of what you're reading is sensationalism. It's there to get clicks and views. It's not the truth. So you have to remind yourself that it's entertainment as well. And you have to be able to discern, right? The Matrix is crashing out, deep divers. Let's talk about it. Shout out to everybody who's here in the chat. You're most definitely appreciated, right? What shows you the Matrix is crashing out, deep divers, in your reality? What shows you the Matrix is crashing out? What shows you? So, one of the biggest things, people are writing to me about, they're telling me that I just completely changed my entire life, Ralph. I just changed the direction of everything I was doing. We're in this kind of time right now because people are realizing it's over. You might quit your whole job and go to Bali. You might quit your whole relationship. You might start working somewhere else. You might leave your neighborhood. We're in this time where people are doing drastic things because we're in drastic measures. Drastic times call for drastic measures. And right now, things are really heating up on the planet. Absolutely. Know thyself just said it. Celebrities can't influence the masses anymore. Celebrities can't influence the masses anymore. Why do you think they're turning on these celebrities? Why do you think they're turning on people like Jay-Z? Why? Because something is happening. You see, for the longest time, these people, they were protected. They were protected. And the reason why is because you're in a club. It's a secret society. All we ask is trust. But what they don't tell you is that there's two forces. There's the force which wants to reveal, and there's the force that wants to conceal. The force that wanted to conceal was very powerful for a long time. It hides everything in the dark. Well, that's coming to an end. We're in a time right now where everything is being revealed, exposed, and in the open. And that's the reason why you're seeing all of these stories come out. This wasn't supposed to come out, but it's because time is up. It's over. The show is over. The party is over. And you're going to see the party die. You're going to see all of those people who you once idolized say, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did this, they did that. They were hiding behind their power and they were abusing it. We're in a powerful time right now. The Matrix is crashing out, right? I just had to bring you this message, deep divers, right? We're in a powerful time. But once again, remind yourself, don't just focus on people who aren't doing anything for you. Focus on the people who are doing something for you. Because these people in the industry, they've never done anything for you. It's always been about them. It's always been about how much money they have, how famous they are, how rich they are, and how much better they are than you. They look down on you. But now, the chickens have come home to roost. Because the first will be last and the last will be first. It's a changing of the guard. The Matrix is crashing hard. We're in a powerful time, deep divers. We're in a powerful time. I'm just excited. I'm just excited because it's long overdue. A lot of people have been waiting for this thing to crash. A lot of people have been waiting for this thing to burn. A lot of people have been waiting for this thing to be rebooted. You got to remind yourself, a program can be rebooted, can be restarted. a reality can be reset. And right now we're at that point where this reality is on its way out. And a new one is coming in where anything is possible. The old earth is coming to an end. And the new earth is just beginning. And, you know, we're in a time right now, deep divers, where there has to be a whole lot of healing. A whole lot of healing. You see, there's a saying that before you can move on, you must heal yourself. Before you can move on, you must heal yourself. Before you can move on, you must heal yourself. So just because the matrix is crashing right now it's time to do the healing. Because we've all been messed up by this. We've all been messed up by this society. We've all been messed up by the matrix. Conditioned. Now it's time to heal ourselves, get back, and elevate. Right? So we're in a very powerful time. 5D, baby. 5D. You know, one of the biggest things is that have no fear. Because you see, that's how the matrix controls your soul, through fear. Let me say a big shout out to Lick 2006. Shout out to you. Awakened people know it's not their job to force someone to wake up. Asleep people are trying to force the awakened to fall back asleep. No thanks. Hey, I like that. That's very true. That's very true. Awakened people know it's not their job to force someone to wake up. Asleep people are trying to force the awakened to fall back to sleep. Absolutely. Absolutely. You've got to remind yourself that the more awake you become, the less you want to control other people. The more awake you become, the more you want other people to find their own truth. This is infinite waters. You can believe whatever you want to believe. I can only show you the door. You have to walk through it. What's happened is that things are becoming undone. And people are now realizing, hey, you got a platform with 100 million people, 200 million people. How come you've never put out a good message that can really help someone wake up? Then you realize, oh, I get it. Because they can't say anything. So you have to look at people with those big platforms, 200 million followers, 300 million followers. What do they tell you? If you dive deeper, they don't tell you anything because, once again, they've been bought and paid for. So you realize that, oh, I get it. These people are puppets. These people don't even have a mind of their own. Right? So it always amazes me when I see these football players, Ronaldo, Messi, right? Great football player. Just imagine if you put out a message. Wake up. Game over. Game over. So you have to remind yourself that don't wait on these people. You be the one to do it. You be the one to say, you know what? I can live my truth. It can inspire other people. But you have to stop waiting for these people to help other people because they're never going to do that. That's not their job. Their job is only to take care of their own needs and be self-absorbed into what they're doing. Right? So, we're in a powerful time, you know? We're in a powerful time because it's over. It's over. And, you know, get ready. Yeah, no, Jim Carrey had a spiritual awakening. Absolutely. There are celebrities who do have spiritual awakenings, and it's great. I love it. I love when people who are in that industry because they have a lot of influence. They have a lot of reach. People watch their movies. They listen to their songs. Just imagine if Taylor Swift said, hey, I had this spiritual awakening. Oh my gosh. What is that going to do to our fans? They'll start changing. So you have to remind yourself that these people are important, just like you're important. And we have to remind ourselves that it's all about realizing that you are the celebrity. Start carrying yourself like an A-lister. That's a slow motion. Start carrying yourself like an A-lister. Because once you do, you will see how the magic works. There are people who don't do anything and they get everything. There are people who don't do anything and they get everything. So if you're an awakened one, why are you giving yourself such a hard time? There are people who watch my videos. They're like, Ralph, I want to put out a video, but I'm scared. What are people going to think? What are people going to say? Are they going to judge me? And guess what? They never share anything. So when you remind yourself, there are people who dumb down people every single day, program people, and they don't care. So why are you being so hard on yourself when you have such a great message to share? That's what you should ask yourself. So you got nothing to lose. Just switch on the camera, start talking. Because you got to remind yourself every single day, there are people out there who are putting out a toxic ass message and they're happy. And it's going to your children, your nephews, your nieces. So you have to counteract that energy because there is a war happening right now. It's a battle of consciousness. There are those who want to help people and there are those who want to suppress people. There are those who want to free people and there are those who want to enslave people. You have to know which side you're on because it's all happening right now. The Matrix is crashing hard right now. It's the age of Aquarius. Let's talk about it. Do you know Earth, Wind, and Fire? We're already in the 5th dimension. Because I told you, things happen in cycles. So go back to the 80s. The 80s, Michael Jackson was winning an award for the best album. And he beat Prince. But in that lineup, you had all superstars. You had Prince, Michael Jackson in the same category. That's crazy. All of the music in the 80s was super high frequency. Super high frequency. They were in the 5th dimension. Go and listen to the 80s, right? They were in the 5th dimension. And it was a time of love, peace. People were happy. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't about the music anymore. Right? So you have to remind yourself now we're going back to the message, just like how it was in the 80s. We're going back to what it means to be authentic. The Matrix is crashing right now. So Donna Summer, absolutely. Donna Summer. So many amazing tunes, right? Aretha Franklin, absolutely. You know, you had real music. Sade, real music. Real music. So we're going back to that point because that's what people want. That's what people are ready for. This time is up. This time of brainwashing people, dumbing down people, people are tired of it. It's played out. It's played out. Right? One of the biggest things, there's even a YouTube matrix. I can talk about it. There's even a YouTube matrix. I can talk about it. You see, a lot of YouTubers, they put themselves in a trap. Let's just say, for instance, I'm doing a tech review. Okay, I'm reviewing iPhones, right? Hey, this is the new iPhone. I'm reviewing this iPhone, right? I tell you everything about the iPhone. Video finished. What have I done, which is a big mistake? Because you see, this tech is great, But I'm not going to spend too long talking about it. Because it's not about this. It's about this. It's not about these machines. It's about you. So that's the reason why I don't do tech reviews. I use technology a lot. I'm very into technology. But I'm not going to spend hours talking about it. Because it doesn't deserve that attention. I'm all about the people. So you have to be careful in loving things and not people, because things were designed to be used. People were designed to be loved. The problem with the world is that things are being loved and people are being used. Right? You got people worshipping technology. I'm like, it's just a tool. It's just a flipping phone, deep divers. Nothing special about it. You're more important than the phone. So this is the awakening that's coming back. The Matrix is crashing hard right now. The Matrix is crashing very hard right now. You know, what's news, deep divers? I know there's a lot of things happening right now on the internet. I know there's a lot of things happening in the world right now. Oh, there's so much more I have to talk about. There's so much more I have to talk about. Right? Carry yourself like an A-lister because you are the star of this movie. Carry yourself like an A-lister because you are the star of this movie. You see, I've got nothing wrong with, there's nothing wrong with celebrities in the Matrix. The problem is that you've forgotten that you are the celebrity. And you have to see yourself as an A-lister. You're going to walk different. You're going to eat different. You're going to live differently. You're supposed to be living up in the hills. You're supposed to be living in abundance. You're supposed to be having generational wealth for your children, financial freedom. You're supposed to be living the good life. Who told you that you're supposed to be living in poverty? They got it twisted. They told you that, hey, abundance is for the materialist. Poverty is for the spiritualist. Nothing could be further from the truth. Spirituality is about abundance. Abundance is the natural state. And what you're going to see is that when you tap in, when you connect with yourself, when you start to raise the frequency, you're going to start to become extremely wealthy, extremely healthy, and live in abundance. It happened to me. You see, what keeps people enslaved in poverty mindset, in a poverty mindset, is because they think there's not enough to go around. They think that things are running out. The truth is, there is so much to go around. There's only abundance in this universe. There is only abundance in this universe. I'm in Greece. I stop the car. I get out of the car. There's a whole orange tree. There's tons of orange trees. Hundreds. Fresh oranges. No one's there. I just pluck one out of the tree. Oh my gosh. This is free? Absolutely. This is the kind of abundance that we're dealing with. You've been told there's a shortage. Things are running out. Do you even know that diamonds are not scarce? Diamonds are in abundance. They had to promote that diamonds are rare. Diamonds aren't rare. They're everywhere. So this is how they even control the monetary system and economics. They tell you that, hey, they have to create scarcity and give you the illusion of scarcity, when in actuality, diamonds are not rare. Go and look that up. Right? So you realize that, thank you, diamonds are the most regular rock ever. Absolutely. But it was a whole marketing scheme. Go and do the research. And people don't even realize how deep it goes, right? So abundance is a natural state, right? Abundance is the natural state. So, like I told you, deep divers, the Matrix is crashing hard. The Matrix is crashing hard. Be prepared for more. revelations about people getting exposed and all kind of things in the Matrix, because we're in that time. Just protect your energy. And realize there's nothing to be afraid of. Once again, deep divers, smash that like button right now if you support The Real. Share the video. And let me say a big thank you to everyone who's been here. Everybody who's been here on this stream, powerful. I just wanted to come and say hi. We've been here for a little while, deep divers. Right? So someone is saying that Jay-Z was kind of named in a lawsuit with Diddy. Well, one of those things, like I told you, Diddy is not the only one. And at this time, once again, you have to realize it's way bigger than Diddy or Jay-Z. You have to realize that the whole industry, this is what happens. This is what's been happening. But if you want to find out what really happens, you have to go to the top. People like Jay-Z, a small fry. You want to go to people like Clive Davis. You want to go to the record executives, the people who own Universal Music, right? Because you think Drake is rich. He's just a pawn on the chessboard. Who does Drake answer to? He answers to the one who owns Universal. That's the one who's cutting Drake's checks. So if you want to learn how the industry works, the music industry, you have to go to the top. The people that you see, the celebrities and on Instagram, these people are small fish. The big fish are the people, they don't even have social media. These are the people who control the music industry. The owner of Sony, Universal Music. These are the people, the Clive Davises of the world. These are the people who really have a lot of power. But these people, they stay away from the spotlight. The people you see on the spotlight, these are the people who are just the bait. So you have to realize that it goes deeper and deeper. It goes deeper and deeper. But you have to remind yourself that the people who are really controlling a lot that you see in the Matrix, they don't want to be on social media. They don't want to be in the limelight. They don't want to be in the music videos. Age of Aquarius is right upon us. Absolutely. The Matrix is crashing hard right now. One of the biggest things as well, while we're here, shout out to everybody who's here, deep divers. Shout out to everybody who's here. All over the world, and this is crazy, all over the world, wherever you are, you might be in the US, you might be in Europe, you might be in Africa, South America. Everywhere you are in the world right now is having some kind of awakening. Take a look at what's going on in Syria. They just drove Assad and all of his family out of the country. Just like that. There's an uprising happening. There's an awakening happening. There's a rebellion happening. And you're going to start to see more of that. You're going to start to see more people waking up. Not because I'm saying so, but because this is the time for it. People have too much information at their hands that they can look into. It's disrupted everything. This is the reason why the Matrix is crashing. Because the Matrix could only survive with the lack of information. It could only survive with keeping people in the dark. Now people are ready to see the light. They're ready to lift up the veil. They want to find out everything. Everything. We've seen this with podcasts, right? There's a reason why you have Joe Rogan. People are listening for 3 hours. Ralph Smart. We're on this stream nearly 3 hours, deep divers. People are listening to long form content because they want to find out. So, yes, you have short form content, TikTok, 10-second video, 15-second. But on the other end, you got people who really want to find out. They're going to listen to 2-hour podcasts while they're driving. That's what I always do. get the knowledge, get the information, your mind is going to expand. You're going to see the world in a whole different way. This is what's happening. This is the reason why the matrix is crashing hard, because people are now ready for the information. People are now seeking out the information, and it's only growing more and more every single day. People are they're gonna learn something new they've never ever learned before. They're gonna find out something new they've never ever heard before. It's gonna disrupt your way of life, right? So I'm even getting the wake up calls, and get ready for more and more big awakening moments. Get ready for more and more big awakening moments, deep divers. What has been your biggest awakening moments, deep divers? Right? So, deep divers, I just wanted to share this video with you. I'll keep it light. I could go on for another 2 hours, but I want to thank everyone who's been here, everyone who's been in the chat. You're most definitely appreciated. Keep diving deep. I'll be doing more of these shows. Right? Because sometimes it's good just to go live on a topic. I was going to do the uploaded version. I said, nah, let me just go live. Let's just talk to deep divers in live time. And that's what I'm going to be doing more of. So sometimes you're like, when is Ralph going to upload a video? Oh, we're doing the live streaming straight away, deep divers, right? So thank you to everyone who's been here. Keep diving deep. And the matrix is crashing hard. Oh, yes. Hit that like button, deep divers, share the video. Hit that like button, deep divers, share the video. And let's go 80s.
I'm so happy. The whole world is just beginning. We already won. It's about us all. So many beautiful deep divers here. It's a choice.
Shout out to all of you deep divers.
I'm so happy to manifest whatever you want, to be whatever you want to be. It's a choice. Freedom is a must. We have to become the spoon.
Don't try and bend the spoon, for that's impossible. Only try and realize the truth that you are the spoon. Then you will see it's not the spoon that bends, but yourself, deep divers. You are the world. As you change, so does the world. Shout out to everyone who's been here. Powerful show. Much love to all of you. I'll be back. And one love. Always peace.